Millions of drivers in the UK woke up today not knowing that the rules of the road have changed, and some of them are already breaking the law without realizing it. The DVLA has officially rolled out 3 major driving rule updates that came into effect starting today, and the penalties for getting it wrong are serious. We're talking fines of up to £2,500, points on your license, and in some cases, an immediate ban. So before you turn that key and pull out of your driveway, stay right here, because what you're about to hear could save your license, your money, and potentially your life. I'm going to walk you through each of these 3 new rules clearly and simply, tell you exactly what's changed, why it changed, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to make sure you're still legally allowed to drive. Let's get into it. The first new rule is something that has caught thousands of drivers completely off guard, and it has to do with mobile phones behind the wheel. Now, you might be thinking, we already knew phones were banned while driving. And you're right, the original law banned handheld phone use while driving. But the DVLA and the government have now closed one of the biggest loopholes that drivers were exploiting for years. Under the old rules, you could legally pick up your phone while stationary, for example, while sitting at a red light or stuck in traffic, as long as you weren't moving. Drivers used this to check notifications, scroll through music apps, even reply to messages while waiting for the lights to change. That loophole is now completely gone. Under the new rules that start today, using a handheld mobile phone in a vehicle is illegal the moment you are in the vehicle with the engine running, full stop. It does not matter if you are moving, stationary, stuck in a queue, sitting at a junction, or waiting for a level crossing. If that engine is on and that phone is in your hand, you are breaking the law. The only exception is if you have safely pulled over, switched off the engine, and are parked in a legal spot. The penalty for getting caught? 6 points on your license and a £200 fixed penalty fine. And for new drivers who are still within their first 2 years of passing their test, 6 points means an automatic revocation of your license. You would have to start the whole process again, theory test, practical test, the lot. For more experienced drivers, if the case goes to court, the fine can rise to £1,000, and for drivers of lorries or buses, that figure jumps to £2,500. What's more, the new rules have also clarified what counts as using your phone. It is no longer just about making calls or sending texts. Touching your phone to check a notification, using it as a sat-nav without it being properly mounted, taking a photo, or even just picking it up to move it, all of these could now count as an offense depending on the circumstances. The message from the DVLA is crystal clear: if you are driving, your phone stays down, and if it needs to be visible for navigation, it must be fixed in a proper mount before you set off. So rule number 1, engine on, phone down. No exceptions. The second new rule is one that many drivers are going to be caught out by because it relates to an area that has always been a bit grey, and that is the rules around lane discipline on motorways and dual carriageways. Middle lane hogging has been a frustration for UK drivers for decades. The Highway Code has always technically advised that you should keep left and less overtaking, but the enforcement of this has historically been almost non-existent. The police rarely pulled drivers over for it, and many motorists simply drove in the middle lane permanently, blocking traffic unnecessarily and forcing other vehicles to undertake, which is both illegal and dangerous. That changes today. As part of an updated enforcement drive backed by the DVLA and supported by new guidance to traffic police, middle lane hogging is now being treated as a fixed penalty offence on the same level as careless driving. Officers now have clearer authority to issue on-the-spot fines without having to build a wider careless driving case. The fixed penalty is £100 and 3 penalty points on your licence. But here's where it gets important, because the rule is not simply stay in the left lane. The updated guidance is more nuanced than that, and if you misunderstand it, you could find yourself in trouble even when you think you're doing the right thing. The rule is this: you must return to the left lane as soon as it is safe and practical to do so after overtaking. That means if you've passed a slower vehicle and the left lane is now clear, you should be moving back left. Sitting in the middle lane while the left lane is empty, even if you are driving at the speed limit, is what will now attract a penalty. However, if the left lane contains slow-moving traffic and you are genuinely in the process of passing it, you are fine to remain in the middle lane. The key phrase in the updated guidance is unnecessary lane occupation. Officers will be looking at whether a driver had a reasonable opportunity to return to the left lane and chose not to. This is a judgment call, and it gives police the flexibility they need to act on repeat offenders or drivers who are clearly treating the middle lane as their personal cruise lane. This is going to be an adjustment for a lot of people. If you have been driving for years in the middle lane without ever thinking twice about it, now is the time to break that habit. Stick left, move out to overtake, and return left as soon as you safely can. That is the correct way to use a multi-lane road. It improves traffic flow, reduces the risk of accidents, and now it keeps you on the right side of the law. The third new rule is the one that is going to affect the most people because it touches on something almost every single driver in the country has to deal with at some point, and that is vehicle checks and roadworthiness. The DVLA, working alongside the DVSA, has updated the standards around what constitutes a roadworthy vehicle, and they have also tightened up the rules around the penalties for knowingly driving an unroadworthy car. This update comes in response to a sharp rise in road accidents linked to vehicle defects, particularly tire issues, brake failures, and faulty lighting, all things that are the responsibility of the driver to check. Here is what has changed. Previously, the law held that you could be fined and penalized if your vehicle was found to be in a dangerous condition, but the burden of proof often rested on showing that the driver knew about the defect. That made enforcement difficult. Under the updated rules, the standard has shifted. If your vehicle is found to be in a dangerous condition during a stop, the presumption is now that you as the driver are responsible for ensuring it was roadworthy before you set off, regardless of whether you claim you didn't notice the problem. In plain English, you cannot say, "I didn't know my tires were illegal" as a defense the way you once could. The responsibility to check falls squarely on you. What does this mean practically? The DVLA is urging every driver to carry out basic vehicle checks before every journey. Tires are the biggest one. Your tire tread must be at least 1.6 millimeters across the central 3/4 of the tire, all the way around. Anything below that is illegal, and a tire in that condition can be catastrophic in wet weather. Check your tire pressure as well. Underinflated tires affect handling and braking in ways that can be just as dangerous as worn tread. Lights are the next critical area. Check that all your lights are working: headlights, brake lights, indicators, and fog lights. A broken brake light is one of the most common reasons drivers are pulled over, and under the new standards, it is not something you want to be caught with. Brakes, windscreen condition, and wiper effectiveness are also on the checklist. The penalties for driving an unroadworthy vehicle have also been updated and are now more severe. A dangerous defect, something like a tire below the legal limit, severely compromised brakes, or a cracked windscreen obstructing the driver's view, can now result in a fine of up to £2,500 per defect, 3 penalty points per defect, and in serious cases, an immediate prohibition notice that means your vehicle cannot be driven until it is repaired. That last point is significant. A prohibition notice does not just mean a fine. It means your car could be seized or immobilized at the roadside, and you would have to arrange alternative transport and a repair before it can be driven again. The costs, financial, logistical, and in terms of time, can be significant. So the advice is simple but important: do not wait until something feels wrong before you check your vehicle. Make it a habit to walk around your car before a journey. Glance at your tires, press the brake pedal, turn on your lights, make sure your screen wash is topped up. None of this takes more than a few minutes, and it could save you thousands of pounds, points on your license, and potentially your life and the lives of others. So let's bring all three of these together, because taken as a whole, what the DVLA is doing here sends a very clear message to UK drivers. The rules are getting stricter, enforcement is getting smarter, and the days of getting away with small habits that you know aren't quite right are coming to an end. Rule 1. Your phone must be down the moment your engine is running. It doesn't matter if you're moving or not. 6 points and a £200 fine is the minimum consequence, and for new drivers, it's the end of your license. Rule 2. The middle lane is for overtaking, not cruising. Once you've passed what you needed to pass, get back left. Failing to do so is now a fixed penalty offence, £100 and 3 points. Rule 3. Your vehicle must be roadworthy before you set off, and the responsibility to ensure that sits entirely with you. Check your tyres, lights, and brakes. A dangerous vehicle can now cost you up to £2,500 per defect and potentially your right to drive at all. These are not small changes. They affect every driver, every day. And the honest truth is that for most people, following all 3 of these rules is not difficult. It just requires awareness and a small adjustment in habit. Turn the engine on, phone goes away. Finish overtaking, move left. Before you drive, do a quick check. That's it. The road is a shared space. Every one of us using it has a responsibility to do so safely, legally, and with respect for the other people around us, whether they're in a car, on a bike, or on foot. These new rules exist because, as a country, we haven't always lived up to that responsibility. Now the DVLA is making it harder to ignore. Stay safe out there. Drive smart. Know the rules. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with someone you know who drives, because there's a very real chance they don't know about these changes yet, and a quick share from you could genuinely save them from a fine, points, or worse. If you want to stay up to date with every driving law change, every rule update, and everything you need to know to keep your license and stay safe on UK roads, then subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. I cover everything from highway code updates to insurance tips to vehicle checks, all in plain language, no jargon, just the stuff that actually matters to real drivers.